allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, help and guide us and make the best possible decisions we can make for the city of Boonville and its citizens. Amen.
Amen. There you go. Okay, roll call.
Young,
Here.
Meadows. Here. Cowherd.
Here.
Harville.
Here.
Hilbert.
Here.
Venable.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Atkinson.
Okay, thank you. Hearing of citizens' comments. Anybody got something they want to say? Okay. Item 4, approval of the minutes. They're on pages 3 and 4. Are there any suggested changes? Susan?
Mayor, I just came across a couple things. Under consent items, Whitney's name in section A was misspelled. And then under new business, the first section A, first line or second line, you said HVAC repair at the Library Learning Center. That's that leftover
Science
from.
Hall, yeah.
Yeah, and then just one other one for clarification. Further down, under reports of city officials from the city administrator, item C, item C, city clerk, not city administrator. You said the next council meeting would be Monday, July 3rd. Which isn't exactly right. The next meeting would have been July 19th. Just for sake of
No, Whitney's
clarity.
already pointed all that out to me.
Okay, well,
But thank
sorry.
you. No, thank you. It's fine. No, he didn't point out Science Hall. He missed that one.
Oh, Whitney. All right, thank you.
I was type happy on his name, obviously.
That's all I had.
Nope, thank you. I will get them fixed.
Okay,
No worries.
they will be submitted as fixed. There are no consent items. Presentation of accounts and claims, it's on page 7.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries in various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on June 19, 2023. The sum of $644,417.30. General fund, $265,634.13. Sanitation, $26,629.39. CIP tax, $7,195.46. Waterworks, $99,684.69. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $31,839.74. Tourism, $8,716.27. Gaming, $196,946.80. Parks and Water, $7,667.08. Timber sales tax, $103.74. Economic Development Project, $0.00. The accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $644,417.30, being the total amount of money being appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on June 19, 2023, read for the second time this June 19, 2023, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I make a motion that we pay these accounts and claims.
Thank you, Susan. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Whitney. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Unfinished business. Item A, second reading of bill number 2023-019, amending certain parts of Appendix A, subdivision regulations. Section 6, final plat.
ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, amending certain parts of Appendix A subdivision regulations, Section 6, providing an effective date therefore and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
We have a motion.
I make a motion. We approve this.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Andrew. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Young,
Yes?
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Item B, second reading of bill number 2023-020, amending and establishing certain parts of Chapter 10, Article 1, relating to festival events, and Article 13, Section 10-283, relating to marijuana facilities. On page 10 through 14.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, amending and establishing certain parts of Chapter 10, Article 1, relating to festival events, and amending Chapter 10, Article 13, Section 10-283, relating to marijuana facilities, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Motion?
Mayor, make a motion we approve this ordinance.
Thank you. Whitney, second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Andrew?
Okay, this is regarding the change of the festivals that we talked about the last
Correct.
few sessions? Great, thanks.
So they're basically allowed to sell if they have a,
The event organizer will procure a event festival permit, and then that is the only licensing that we would do on our end.
okay, so these are businesses that are in town, right, or not?
It would be everybody.
It can be anybody, okay.
And if you, like, if a business already has a business license, wanted to have a sidewalk sale, we wouldn't go through this. It's really more your bigger events like Heritage Days or a few other things.
This is alcohol. It says drinks of any kind. Does it do like marijuana sales or anything like that too for events?
Well, you couldn't do marijuana sales outside,
Okay.
but we can lift the open container law like we did last year for the Sip and Strollin', and then like the event that is here tonight is also asking for.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Young,
Yes,
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item C, second reading of bill number 2023-021, amending portions of Appendix G, Schedule of Administrative Fees, on pages 15 through 17.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, amending portions of the Schedule of Administrative Fees, Appendix G, in the Code of General Ordinances by establishing and incorporating festival event license permit fees, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Motion?
Mayor, make a motion we approve this ordinance.
Thank you, Whitney. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Susan. Questions, comments?
I think it's a good way to clean this up moving forward, so that way it's simple and easier for festivals that want to come to our
Right.
town.
Well said.
So, good job.
Okay, on the marijuana inspection fee, who does that inspection?
It's the chief, the fire chief, the building inspector, all three of them. And they sign off on it. We have a form we recently created for it.
Excellent, excellent.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Young,
yes,
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item D, second reading of bill number 2023-022, authorizing an agreement with H.W. Lochner Incorporated for engineering services at Jesse Vertle Memorial Airport.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri authorizing and approving an agreement with H.W. Lochner Incorporated to provide airport engineering services.
Is there a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Susan. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
So this engineering group, this is one of their specialties.
Yeah, this is, the city has already entered into an agreement for Lochner to do our engineering at the airport.
So they do the design to make sure we're following all procedure and things, and then someone else does all the construction, correct?
Correct, and they'll do the bid documents as well, and then they'll do construction oversight. But the project is being broken up into two sections, so just like for people who were here when we did the new runway, this year we'll do design, and then next year we will do the actual project, which I think is like $1.3 million, of which it's a 90-10% grant. So we will be responsible for the $130,000 approximately of the project, and then the state pays their other 1.2.
Where are they out of? Just curious.
Kansas City?
Kansas City.
How much is their retainer? Maybe I haven't got to it yet. I mean, how much, like, do we pay them a year to do this?
We don't pay them anything per year to be our engineer. They just, they receive by state, by the grant that MoDOT offers, they can only have so much overhead, and they can only have so much per cost project. And I think the reimbursement amount on now is, well, it's 10.72 is what this one is. So that's the maximum they can get paid, and that's set by the state. So the state is the organization group that reviews it and then decides whether or not it's reasonable.
And most of what they're doing is like looking at the runway and stuff and making sure it's,
Well, this is a design, so they're gonna redo all of the taxi lanes, the north taxi lane. So if you go to the airport, or if you look at an aerial, like the Cooper County GIS, you'll see the new and the old. All the stuff that looks old is being redone.
okay.
And so they'll do all the design work for that.
Are there buildings in addition to the taxiways?
No.
Anything else? Roll call.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Philbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
All right. Item 8, new business. Item A, consideration of Knights of Columbus fundraiser event for Missouri Special Olympics. Who's got that one?
Well, we'll just introduce Mike Ivy and let him talk on behalf of the Knights.
Good to see you, Mike.
Good seeing you all. Thank you, Mayor and councilpersons. I am Mike Ivy. I'm the current Grand Knight for our local Knights of Columbus Council. And what we are wanting to do is have a Irish road bowling event, be the last weekend in August. If you're not familiar with Irish road bowling, it is a sports contest. Teams of 4, each team is given an iron ball, a little bit smaller than a tennis ball, weighs 28 ounces, and the goal is to roll the ball the fewest amount of times from the starting point to the ending point. We are wanting to start on the road on Mid-America Industrial Drive, in between Caterpillar and the Spirit of 76 fireworks, and then end up at the bottom driveway into our parking lot. And it's going to be a fundraiser for Special Olympics. We are hoping to generate in the area of $3,000 to $4,000 to give to them. What we're specifically asking the council for is the waiver of the open container ordinance. Since this is an Irish event, there will be alcohol consumed. We will not be, yeah, big surprise. We will not be selling or supplying any of it. It will be a BYOB. Everybody will meet at the hall. We'll walk out to the starting point and then roll back to the hall and where it will finish. What questions do you have for me?
Have you talked to like MFA, the other local businesses out there about shutting down the road for the whole day?
I have actually talked to MFA. They are not open on Saturday at that point.
Okay.
So they will not have any impact. And we're not asking for the road to be closed. This is an event that does happen while the roads are open. They have Irish road bowling all over the world. There is one in February in Rocheport that is on the 240 spur from Highway 40 and goes into town. What they do and what we will be doing, we will have people at the front and at the back of the procession watching for traffic. And if a vehicle does come, then it's car, everybody clears off the road, the vehicle goes by, everybody waves at them. We're a very social event. And then when the traffic goes by, everybody gets back on the road and we continue on.
But you roll a ball down the road.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
YouTube it, it's actually kind of cool.
Wherever the ball, in our case, wherever the ball will hit the curb is where we count that as stopping, and then the next person on their team will go to that point and roll the ball. There are drop inlets along the road. We've already accounted for those, and we've already gotten contact with somebody to provide us with some straw bales. That we will go out there that morning, put the straw bales in front of the drop inlets so the ball doesn't go down. And then when it's over with, we're going to go back through, pick the straw bales up so that it's not impeding rainwater or anything like that.
So you have several teams?
We're hoping to max out at 35 teams.
Wow.
We've been to the event in Rocheport for several years. This last year, they maxed it out at 35 teams, and they sold out within about 2 days.
Wow.
I've already been in contact with people through Rocheport, friends in New Franklin. There's an organization, the High Order of Hibernians, which is an Irish Catholic organization in Kansas City, Kansas. They've been having these events twice a year for several years. They're excited about it. They want to bring a team or two down as well.
What are the times for the event?
The event itself will actually start in the 10 o'clock area, 9, 10 o'clock, and then it will usually end around 5 o'clock. It just depends on how fast people roll the ball. We're also, at the end of the event, don't need anything approval for this, but at the end of the event, where it ends at the hall, we're wanting to have, we will be cooking hamburgers and hot dogs, and we're trying to make contact with a local band to have them playing afterwards so that if people don't want to do the road bowling, then they can come out then and listen to the music, have something to eat. It's a little bit of extra income that we can bring in to be able to donate. And if people, when they get done with road bowling, they want to sit around and relax after a long, hard days of walking, then they can do that as well. Yes, ma'am.
Will you have, do you think you'll have plenty of parking for that sort of?
Yeah, I
People
don't know if you've been out to the hall or not, but
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a pretty good sized parking lot. And in the event that we have more people than what our parking lot will hold, which I doubt that because parking lot will hold a lot of cars, then we've got a really good relationship with WK across the road. I'm sure that they would be fine with us helping out. We help them out if they're paving their parking lot or something like that. We let them use our parking lot for that. So we've got a really good relationship with them.
You marked alcohol and portable restrooms. You guys are doing the restrooms, I assume?
Yeah, it may seem odd, but what is generally done is a porta potty will be put on a trailer that would be pulled behind a truck or a golf cart or something like that. That way the porta potty is following the group.
Oh, that is
So
It's-
does it stop? Or are you going down the road and?
If your balance is really good, you could. The porta potty, it will go forward a little ways and then they stop and everybody kind of catches up to them and then when people go by, then it will go ahead and then go on by.
That is fun.
There's some pretty large culverts down Radio Hill Road. Are you sure you guys don't need to get that road blocked off or not?
No, for no longer than what will be on Radio Hill Road. And from the traffic that I've seen, being out there,
Yeah.
I really don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, there's not much traffic. My kids used to go to daycare out there.
Yeah.
But if you're on the weekend, there's no traffic.
Yeah, so, and the shoulders there are sloping and wide enough that, if the ball happens to go down through there, the grass is gonna stop, if we have grass by that time, if you get some rain. Yes, sir.
So the course looks like it's about 1.3 miles, right?
And that
Is
varies.
that common with this
Yeah,
section?
the official rules actually recommend it's between a mile and a mile and a half.
That'll
So,
take 7 hours.
I'm sorry?
How many hours will that take?
Well, I'm asking for that amount of time frame, just to give us time to go out, set the hay bales up, or the straw bales up, and then to go back afterwards and clean back up and everything.
Okay.
The event itself, about 5 hours is usually what it lasts.
Okay. Any other questions? Give me your hands raised if you want to support this. Okay.
So we will proceed. I can't remember now offhand if I did an ordinance or resolution, so I apologize. I should have looked at that before you came the last time we did this. But at the July 3rd meeting, we'll just have on lifting the open container for this mapped area.
No, it won't be July 3rd.
Or July 17th?
Yeah, it won't be July 3rd. It'll
Yeah.
be the next one in
One
July.
after that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that'll be fine. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, sounds fun.
Thanks, Mike.
If you all want to come out and play, I'll be taking the word.
All right, sounds good, thank you.
That sounds like fun.
All right.
That's only fun.
Item B, consider resolution R 2023-08, authorizing and approving an agreement with Boonville R1 schools for school resource officer program. Page 131, is that right?
A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing and approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Boonville, Missouri and the Boonville R1 School District to provide school resource officers in Boonville R1 schools and providing an effective date therefore. Whereas the Boonville R1 School District desires to provide a security program to continue providing a safe environment for students, staff, and citizens who interact with the district, and whereas the City of Boonville wants to provide a school resource officer program for the district, and whereas the Boonville Police Department is uniquely suited to provide school resource officers in the Boonville R1 School District that can enhance the safety and security of the schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri shall approve and authorize an intergovernmental agreement with the Boonville R1 School District for a police service agreement as set forth in Exhibit A attached hereto and made a part hereof as fully as if set forth herein verbatim. Section 2, that the mayor and the city clerk are hereby authorized to execute and attest said contract on behalf of the City of Boonville. Section 3, this resolution will take effect and be in full force from and after its passage and approval passed this 19th day of June by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
Mayor, make a motion to approve this resolution.
Okay, Whitney, thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Andrew. Discussion, questions?
So the first officer will be between Hanacole and the high school. And
Yeah.
I assume the second officer is going to be Lee Summit, or LSC and David Barton. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Surprised this has taken so long, honestly.
Yeah. Roll call.
I got a question. They said, and I forget where it was, that the police officer can look at the child's medical records too, is that right?
I think there's as specifically related to any school records, so, again, I don't exactly know, and I'm not in the school side, but I think if they have an IEP and say they have some mental health challenges or physical health challenges, they can see those records, but they can't share them. It's just specifically related to as their job as an SRO.
So what about the school nurse? Don't they have a school nurse out there that can look at those records and tell him a certain thing, you know what I mean?
Well, they do. It's just if it was related to some sort of interaction or experience, like if there was something that was occurring, they might say, here, we're going to show you these records so that you understand what this child may or may not need, or what things might arise. I don't know how often it even happens. It's just in the case that you would need to, but they can see them just like any other teacher can. I mean, a teacher can see those school records as well, but I don't think it's not like they're just reading the records. It's only specific to if there's an incident or a necessary.
Is that clear?
So is that a HIPAA violation though?
I don't think so. It's part of that. It's part of the agreement with this school, and this is much of this is the standard from school to school. So I know they have access at other schools as well. That's part of how we came up with the verbiage.
Is there any special training they have to have?
Go ahead, Ray.
You missed this.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was away a couple miles.
Yes, I believe his first day is going to be July 5th, and the following week he'll be going to the SRO training, which is the Missouri Police Chiefs Association in Jeff City. I do have him signed up for the advanced, but that's full. He's on the waiting list. I think he's first in line, and somebody happened to drop out of that. But it teaches pretty well everything they need.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Okay. No reports of standing committees. Reports of city officials. Economic developer.
Hello. So I kind of want to start off on a somber moment. I want to begin by acknowledging the amazing work, changes, connections, resources, and hope Carrie Reisner brought to our area Boonville Technical Education Center and to the students that walked those halls. I will forever remember Carrie Reisner and the impact she had in this community and with me. She certainly left a mark on my heart forever. And I'm going to be covering some of the things that I've learned through insight and how important Carrie was to this community in some of my comments to you guys. And as I go through these, you're going to see where they're talking about technical training and connecting with industry, and Carrie did all that. So Insight Missouri Summit was a summit that I attended in St. Louis, and this is where 7 site selectors came from all over the country and spoke about what their corporations that they work for and they seek sites for, and what they're looking for in a community. And there were several of them, but I thought I'd highlight some of those to you guys so you can see as you're planning our city and some of the things that corporations are looking for. So the great demand is for a shovel-ready 30 to 40 acre site. No longer are they really looking for 5 acre sites, they're looking for much larger sites. Missouri lacks investment into infrastructure. States that are doing a good job are Ohio, which is investing $2.5 billion in infrastructure to get sites ready for development. Michigan was another one with $1 billion. Water and sewer systems are a restrictions on smaller rural communities. We see that even in our county too, and I think our city does a good job, but even Kate and I have seen projects pass through our records and through our emails through Missouri Partnership, and they're asking for so much water. I think we had 3 last month pass, and I'm like, oh, can't do this, and moved on. So that is a restriction for smaller rural communities. There is a disconnect between education and industry, which Carrie really, I can tell you every time I brought someone out there to tour that BTEC, she would say, what kind of certifications do you need? What kind of training do you need? Would this work? Do we have this? Here's what we have. And so she was always making that connection. And if not, she was implementing it into her program to make that connection. So that's something that a site selector was saying. We're seeing this all over our country. There's a disconnect. We're not educating what the industry is looking for. Missouri training programs are behind, they reported. The strength in our area schools is very important, so strong technical training is sought. They kept repeating that. Missouri is not in front of anything. It does not stand out. This wasn't a bashing Missouri. I just wanted you guys to hear so they had a lot of good things or they wouldn't be working with us, but they said they're behind in workforce training and research. Indiana has 2 large research programs that companies want to be close to. Companies are no longer expecting the workforce to move to them. They are moving to the trained, skilled, and educated workforce. So companies don't have a problem with picking up and moving to wherever the trained workforce is, which I thought was kind of amazing, because usually whenever in my day you get out of college, you're like, oh, I want to go work for this company and I have to move there. Well, that's no longer the case. They're coming to you. Child care needs to be addressed in most every state, city, and town. Want to commend Kate, who just filled out an EDA grant to try to expand our child care here down at the administrative building. Is that what that's called? Academic building. Yeah, sorry, I always get those confused. So that's good that we're looking ahead of that, because a lot of child care facilities that were privately owned closed during COVID and they never reopened. But that's across the nation is seeing that. Companies do not like wild swing in politics and like consistency, so they will avoid states and towns and areas that have radical agendas on the table. Downtown rejuvenation is an attraction to many of the businesses now. People like to stay local, shop local, and they're looking at downtown revitalization in areas. A plan for the future is important for communities. TIFs are really only sought for companies seeking a long-term benefit. Grants are preferred, so they like that funding up front and not spread out. That's what the majority of them are looking for. Exemption with sales tax from building materials are an upfront cost savings considered very attractive. So that's kind of that upfront again. So companies evaluated in this order of what they're looking for in a location. So location was first, infrastructure was second, workforce was third, soft infrastructure was fourth, business environment was fifth, and quality of life was sixth. So that's kind of my take from that. There was a lot that they communicated. I actually had a site selector that was there from North Carolina that had been on a meeting with me and with Kate and a lot of us, and they didn't choose our area. So I actually had the opportunity to go up to her and ask, okay, could you help me understand, why you chose that area? It wasn't one that I thought that was the most marketable one that we had. And she's supposed to get back to me, but to date she hasn't gotten back to me, so I'll probably have to be poking the bear again. So the Howard County Port Authority has begun construction on their new grain bins. This is approximately a $2.7 million project. Midwest Construction out of Nebraska continues to be a partner with the Army Corps of Engineers, utilizing our port. Last year they barged 75,000 ton of rock on the Missouri River, and this year and next year they're estimating 310,000 ton is expected to pass through this dock. So good thing that they invested in renovating it, because it is being used. The CDL training effort to bring to Boonville and State Fair Community College Kemper campus are still progressing. An advisory board was formed, and we have had our first meeting with the State Fair Community College director of this program. State Fair has been awarded a grant, so they can buy a semi and a full-size tractor trailer to start us off with this program, so we've got that checked off. The other parts are finding a contracted instructor. State Fair is not going to put them on their payroll, but if we can find a contracted instructor, And then funding and finding a future training pad of about 250 by 450. So we're reaching out right now. I can tell you that there's possibilities that I've talked to. So it's a process, so we're looking into that to see, because paving something like that, if we do find the ground, paving that is not cheap. So looking at a couple different options. A&D Barracks, this is still moving forward. Kate has done a great job communicating on this front to make sure everything is moving forward, and she's just last week, or was it this week? I'm getting my weeks confused. Just sent out an email saying, hey, where's your attorney at this? We haven't heard from you. So I thank you, Kate, for staying up on that. That's kind of what you have to do to make sure things don't fall in the cracks. So I appreciate that. As the Central Region Director of the Missouri Economic Development Council, we took our council to St. James, Missouri, to explore their economic development and progress. During this, just a little history that was giving, but about St. James and maybe why they have a winery there and why we probably don't here, because at one time we were the second, I'm told, the second largest in the nation of a wine back in, what, pre-Civil War times? Anyway, a long time ago, before me. Not much before me, no before me. But anyway, St. James, during the Prohibition, St. James was able to maintain their grape crop due to collaboration and partnership they made with St. Louis grocery companies, and later a collaboration with Welch's Grapes company. So that's how they were able to keep that stock and kind of move forward. We were at the meeting, we had two wineries come talk to us. One was St. James Winery, which has been there since the 70s and is a second generation. It was very interesting to hear him talk about, how it's grown through his father and now through him. We also learned of a new winery that is being constructed as we speak. Spencer Manor Winery is to open at the end of the summer. This was a young couple who started a passion kind of in their home with wine making, and just kind of catapulted. He got a transfer down to the Rolla area, and she was a nurse. Quit nursing, found some ground, and started this $6 million project to develop a new winery there. So it's supposed to be open, like the end of the summer. They're expecting to hire 30 to 50 workers for their winery. Great couple, just super nice. So head down to St. James if you guys have a weekend that you want to do. I attended Connecting All Missouri meetings. This is kind of a rollout with the state of Missouri, trying to get all communities connected to the internet. The problem that a lot of us have had in Cooper County is that a lot of this funding is tied to these maps, these FCC maps. These FCC maps are incorrect. They said that Cooper County was 100% served, so we have to dig deeper, and the state's doing a good job of digging deeper and offering communities the opportunity to challenge these maps and say that, hey, we're not getting served. One community I am working with is Bunston, which I know doesn't pertain to you guys, but I will say there's new money coming down. It's called BEAD, Broadband Equity Access Deployment, and if in this community we have anybody that's not being served, this is a time that municipalities can partner with broadband providers to make sure that everyone's getting connected. This, when we were at, and Mary Pat Obley attended this with me, but when we were at this meeting, something that I thought fascinating was, if you've ever heard of someone maybe just outside of a community, they're like, I can't get service, the provider's saying it's going to take $10,000 to run the line. Well, this money is supposed to stop that this is supposed to fund so everybody gets connected. There's also another type funding that's part of this program. It's called Digital Equity, and it's the non-infrastructure part of getting connected. And in this act, it's working to making sure that all who want to connect can. So funding is working on making sure price points are realistic and people can get connected. So they're not priced out of getting connected. Something kind of similar to that, I attended last week at MEDC Summit, and they talked about Missouri Network, and I'd never heard of this group before, but they kind of connect with your libraries and train people to be a resource to reach out to these areas of people that are not connected. And I've talked to Mary Pat, connected her to Mary Pat. I saw that our regional library does not have someone trained. So, Mary Pat and I actually just talked about that today, and we're trying to work to see that, because I would like to see our library go with me and MU Extension, who is also supposed to be a part of this, and go out and actually talk to our communities and people who train, and even have a session here. Because one thing that a lot of people are doing, that these providers are saying, they're running these lines down your street, and people are saying, I don't want connected, I don't want connected, because I'll never use it. Well, my 90-year-old parents probably wouldn't have gotten connected until my brother's like, oh, yes, you are. So some things that you need to think about, too. This affects property values, too. If it's going to take $10,000 to get connection, you should think about that as you, even though you're not going to use it. So getting this broadband, it helps people who work from home. It helps you bring the youth back in, who can work anywhere in this world. So let's try to get connected. I think that's a big push for our county and our city. Okay, project travel has gone silent. This was something I reported last time. This was a project that an entrepreneur was starting, however, due to an illness has stalled out. Project Mindfulness is no longer on the table. Unfortunately, this was an amazing opportunity. This had the potential of bringing over 200 jobs with the average pay of $45,000. After engineering review, the structure was not going to meet their needs, and the cost of demolition and new construction kicked them out of this location. I tried everything, or everything that I knew to try, so didn't get them back. Project Lightbulb for Rural Living. This project is just in the beginning stages. The investor is working to bring other investors to the table and seek a grant, and that's about all I can say at this time. Project Pipe met with out-of-town investors at the site with their realtor, provided with them a requested data that they'd asked me to bring. They were not willing to tour the town on the initial visit, and I have followed up with them, and there's still interest. This project is supposed to be like a mixed-use project, and they're on track to close at the end of this month, so that's still on track. So hopefully next time I can report more about what they're doing. They're still doing their due diligence, so we'll see what happens there. In closing, I would like to ask that this city council, our community, and community leaders for some thoughts in planning for our future. Let's reflect. Legislation has passed a budget for Interstate 70 to expand to 6 lanes across our state, which includes Boonville and Cooper County. The green space within the city limits of the city of Boonville is dwindling. City utilities are being upgraded and expanded due to recent demand and growth. With increased technology, new companies and new ideas are being developed in our backyard, like Agri-Drone Company and others. The overwhelming amount of data being collected, which our community, in the most part, is not aware of, is bringing companies here without being provoked. And our neighborhood community partner, or adjacent to us, is developing a 100-plus acre industrial park, just to name a few things to ponder on as we plan for a sustainable, well-balanced, and well-planned future. So, any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Gigi.
City Administrator.
Just 2 things. One, I did look, so when we lifted the open container, we did it by resolution. So on the July 17th agenda, we'll have a resolution to lift the open container law along the road bowling route. So I'll have that ready. And then I just wanted to announce that we have an agreement on tax collection. It was a long time coming. I'm drafting the agreements currently. I hope to have those also on the agenda in July, that July 17th. The commissioners, the city clerk, or the county clerk, county collector, and the city are all in agreement. So luckily, the tax collection challenge is put to rest
Put to rest for now.
for now.
Can you share the term of the agreement?
Yeah, sure. In broad strokes, the commissioners preferred, I think we reported back when we had that meeting several months ago, they didn't want to do a percentage. So we've agreed on doing a per bill amount. And so the amount for the clerk is $1.10, and the amount for the collector is $1.75. Right now, there would be 6,838 bills sent out for tax collection, so the total to the city would be about 17,000. It's less than the 1.5%. If we had paid 1.5% to each of them, that was more about 24 to 28. So it's a little bit less than that, but it was agreed upon by all the parties and not related necessarily to you guys, but the clerk is collecting from us, but all the other cities, he is extending their taxes at no cost, so.
So what kind of length are we looking at? What kind of term?
Forever, unless we change
We're
it.
We're going for forever.
Yeah, we're gonna try to just say that we'll meet and amend as needed, but not set a termination date on it.
Cool.
H, are you sure that numbers? Say those numbers again, the one.
$1.10 and $1.60, you're right, $1.60, sorry, we were at $60,
I think it's 60, it's $1.60.
$1.60, yes, sorry, we were asking for $1.75, yeah. It was $1.60 for the collector, I'm sorry. We started at $1.75.
Yeah, $1.60 is right.
So anyways, we'll have that on the agenda for approval. I'm gonna try to actually get it to the clerk and the collector and the commissioners first so that they'll all sign it, so by the time it comes to us, we're the last signatures, not the first. And then just as Gigi alluded, on Friday, we did submit the Economic Development Administration grant for Academic Hall. It's currently under review. So keep our fingers crossed that we have a positive review and that we're awarded those funds that would really get us over the hurdle on completing Kemper. So.
Good. Questions? I do not have any comments tonight. City Clerk?
None.
None. Miscellaneous. Item A, Public Works Monthly Report.
It was in the packet.
It was in the packet. Anybody have any questions on it? Okay. Steve?
Motion to adjourn.
Who's got the second?
Second.
Andrew. All in favor, stand up and leave.